everyone, my name is Rebecca. I'm a fish biologist, ichthyologist and also a PhD student specialising and studying the evolution of Loricariid catfishes, also known as Plecos within the aquarium trade. So today I'm going to really just explain the difference between Baryancistrus demantoides and Hemiancistrus subviridis, which are both known as L200 or the green phantom. Baryancistrus demantoides is often called the hyphened green phantom, whereas Hemiancistrus subviridis is just that. There is sometimes for Baryancistrus demantoides, sorry the names are really long, sometimes it's called L200A, but that's not a real L number. So here, I don't think I have any specimens of the subviridis, but I might do. So here I have an example, a preserved specimen donated to me of Baryancistrus demantoides. So these are actually two sister species. They are both placed next to each other. Baryancistrus demantoides isn't actually placed within the genus Baryancistrus. It just needs a revision. It's name changing to the other genera. So it is kind of, well, you put Hemiancistrus like that because the actual Hemiancistrus is placed elsewhere. Just because of how taxonomy works. Hemiancistrus medians is the true Hemiancistrus, and if they're not placed next to it, they're not really going to be Hemiancistrus. So it's also very closely placed and very closely related. So these green phantoms, like the potentially Hemiancistrus subviridis, is the same species as L128, so that's the blue phantom. I believe there's a black phantom, and they're also very closely related to Baryancistrus demantoides and Hemiancistrus hyborium, which are all in this sort of middle clade together. And closely related next to that would be Baryancistrus, and then further out would be Panac. So these, and then further out than that, I think would be where Hemiancistrus medians places, or it might be the other way around. So this is Baryancistrus demantoides. It's been preserved originally, would be easier that way. Originally preserved in acetone. Maybe it prefers it a bit further back. Oh, lighting. There we go. So they're originally in acetone, and then onwards into ethanol, 70%. So I'm trying to move away from using formalin just to preserve DNA, because people used to do it and it has been done in the past. So morphologically these are very similar. They were described in the same paper. There's some minute differences. I think head shape's slightly different, but it's not something that you're going to be easily able to identify. Some people say fin height is different. I wouldn't say so. I've worked with both species. I've kept both species. I don't think so. Jaw definitely is different. So the reason that these Baryancistrus demantoides were placed in Baryancistrus is they do have a slightly wider jaw than the Hemiancistrus, but that's not always the most identifiable method. Adult size, pretty much similar, 15 centimeters standard length, but they can get a lot bigger. And that standard length, my individual of Baryancistrus demantoides was mature when she was the length of my hand, excluding the tail. So they're not a small fish. This is not a mature specimen at all, although they can potentially breed much younger. And the way you'd sex it, just going to see if I don't think there's any. This is a mature fish, but you'd look, if you look underneath for both of these, is it gonna, just gonna, if you look underneath, you should see the urogenital port or genital papillae. That is, it should be more rounded in females, sort of like a bowl shape. If you look at a bowl on the side, whereas males are a lot more elongate, and you kind of can see a little bit more of it, I guess. It's not the easiest. Odontoids, females can get very large odontoids as they get older and seasonally, so I would never identify using odontoids. Head shape potentially. So looking at whether it has a rounder, wider head or more pointed head, or more so the length. But these two species, so how would you tell a difference? And this is why I don't think people should be so fussed about which they get unless they're trying to breed it, is that if you lift them up the fin, or well, you got to see it raised really. And obviously this having been preserved, it's not the most easy to see, but there is a membrane between the dorsal and adipose fin. So dorsal, adipose. In the Hemiancistrus subviridis that would not be there, and the dorsal fin would basically, there wouldn't be a lobe at the end of the dorsal fin. So just gonna let it work it out. So there wouldn't be the lobe at the bottom there, it would just go straight the way back. Colours, so Hemiancistrus subviridis does have that wide range of colours, and I've done a video on it based on locality. So the further north is towards the waterfall where the blues are, they get a lot darker, more blue in colour. The further down they are, the more green they are. Baryancistrus demantoides is on a sort of a tributary out. They do have a large overlap, and they do tend to be one sort of colour, sort of the brighter yellow or green, whereas the Hemiancistrus subviridis does vary a lot. So you're not buying on colour either. So as I said, these are not a small species at all. They're not the largest, but then should kind of be considered. They're like, oh, she's not gonna, she's got a face at the back, facing the back, so it's not the easiest to see, but they aren't small at all. You can see I do like that sort of, so the Baryancistrus, Hemiancistrus clade head, which is that deeper head that you see in Panac as well. And you can kind of see they are spotted. The spots do vary depending on the individual. This one you kind of see as she dries out a little bit because she's been in ethanol. But care of them, so these guys are well, obviously they're algivores, feeding almost entirely on algae, bit of detritus, periplankton, stuff like that. So you want something like Rapashi Soylent Green, Rapashi Super Green, you want that range of algae, plecopops, stuff like that, just to get that wider range of algae into their diet. Temperature, so they are from the Rio Orinoco, I think, and I forget, but so they are definitely Rio Orinoco. I would go warmer inclined, like sort of, I tend to keep it around 28 degrees on Rio Orinoco, but it does vary a little bit and it's not as cool as people think it is, like but their size, they're big fish that can really push their weight. So like Baryancistrus here, larger caves, plenty of hiding places, because they will throw their weight around at each other and they're not going to fit in a small cave when they're older, but for younger ones you can. Have they been bred? So these Baryancistrus demantoides and Hemiancistrus subviridis have been bred, but it's very rare. So I wouldn't buy them to breed unless you're in for the long haul. You're not going to make money out of it because you're probably going to have them as long as, well, you're going to have them long time before they do breed. So it's not really the money maker that it should be seen. And you're not going to be able to buy them captive bred. They are wild caught, so they're wild caught from Colombia where the Rio Orinoco is. And then anywhere you're getting them is likely going to be wild caught. If someone does breed them and you're not particularly sure, ask for photos, ask for sort of spawning photos, because it's one of quite a few fish you'll see people claim they've bred them, and you kind of, it's like, have they? Because I've seen people claim it with the gold nuggets and it actually turns out to be the common bristlenose, just a bit brighter markings. So I hope this helps. I hope it's something a little bit interesting on the green phantoms, both Baryancistrus demantoides and Hemiancistrus subviridis, and it's also an example of why the L number system can be a right old pain, and why common names aren't helpful at all, because just the hyphen is a deception, because they both have pretty high dorsal fins, and the green the Hemiancistrus just varies a lot in its green. So I'm gonna place them back down, and I'm going to end this video here. If you like my videos, please comment, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.